set up your UI. I'm going to take you through some configuration of different add-ons as in a best way to tweak your UI and to get a hold of things in a nice and neat way and minimize cluttering as much as we can. I want to start with presenting you with Bartender. Most of you, I'm sure, have heard of this and are using it. Bartender is a add-on that gives you a new interface for your hotbars, your power bars down here. And to get into the configuration menu, just type /bartender and we'll get the configuration menu. My UI is already configured the way I want it, but I will give you an idea on what you can do with the add-on. First of all, when you are configuring it, you would like to unlock it. This will turn the bar screen and you will be able to drag the bars around like that. At the moment I have activated bar 1, bar 2 over here, bar 3 over here and bar 4 here, and I have bar 10 here as a box for certain buttons basically. And since I'm a paladin, I need to be able to change auras, which I do on my stance bar, which I've put over here. To configure the certain bars, you just click the bar you want to configure, bar 1 in this case, and here you can choose the alpha of the bar or the scale, for example. And if you think my UI setup is too small, you could say scale it up a bit and have some huge bars in the middle of your screen if you think that that's a good idea. I don't, that's why I have set mine to 0.8 and they're out of the way. You basically don't look that much at them while playing anyway. A good tip is to put padding down a bit, because they will get a bit spread if you don't. The padding is the space between the buttons. I like to keep it quite low, so I keep it at +2. There we go. I have less buttons than usual on my bars. I only have 9 instead of 12. That's because 9 is the number of certain hotkeys I use, and they range from Q through ER, TF, GV, X and C, and then of course I use 1 to 9, and then Shift Q to back to C again, and Control and Q to C again, and that gives me a quick UI, I think, where I can reach everything very quickly and don't have to twist my hands to get to my buttons. You can change loads of things within Bartender, and I think you should go tinkering a bit with it when you install it. See what suits you and what doesn't, basically. I've set up my bars. My bars are exactly the same all the way here, except for bar 4 for some reason, which has too much padding. Let's get that down, and there we go then. You can also activate things like vehicle bars, pet bars, the Blizzard art bar, which I don't think you should use. It's that normal kind of clunky one. Don't use that, it just clutters your screen. And of course you can have an experience bar, so you can see your experience. Here's how that one look, and you can scale it down a bit or do whatever you please. I have my experience elsewhere, and since I'm level 85, I don't really use experience anymore. When you're done, you lock the bars again and they are snapped into place, and if you don't want to be able to click and drag functions from the hotkey settings, you can click lock button and no more clicking and dragging. I like to be able to move mine around, so I will deselect it. Of course, you can save this into a profile, which you can later on load on another character, so you don't have to do this every time you start a new character. Let's close that one. The next add-on is Sexy Cooldown. To be able to tweak that, go in, hit escape, go to interface, add-ons, and Sexy Cooldown. Click the little plus sign there, and here you have all you need for it. Basically, you can unlock it and move around a bit. See if I can get that into place again. There we go. And I lock it again. And here you can set bar orientation and the timer settings and stuff like that. To show you how it works, I will cast on myself there, and we get a icon that tells us that in 4 minutes, approximately 50 seconds, it will cool down, and I can use it again. I also use HealBot. I do this even if I'm a paladin tank, because there are certain things I like about it. For one, I get a very nice and clean raid unit frame, which give me the ability to click cast, and I'm kind of fond of that. As a tank, you might need to click cast certain taunts or certain protective spells like Hand of Protection, Hand of Freedom, or Hand of Salvation or whatnot. And this add-on gives me the ability to do so without deselecting my current target, which should be some random raid boss or whatever. Of course, if you're a healer, HealBot is a must. Then you basically need that's all you need basically. You will click and cast different spells. I'm going to show you how to set it up. When you have installed HealBot, you will get a nice little icon down on your minimap. Just click that one and up comes the configuration panel. You can go to Other, and here you can set test bars, and let's put them on. And here is basically what my raid frames look like. I have 2 groups of 5 people. I don't do 25 men raiding myself, I only do 10 men raiding, and hence I don't need any more. Then you go to skins, and this is really where you set up the looks of the add-on. I usually like to start at bars, and here I can choose how many columns is shown. If I increase this will pop up, you see here. Now it's all in one line. I will move it back to 5 again, and I get 2 nice rows again. I have set my height and width to 34 and 83, and that of course is optional depending on your screen real estate, basically. How much space do you have and how large do you want them to be? Fiddle around a bit here. I would recommend you to set the power bar size so you actually can see it. Since I'm a tank, I also use the aggro bar, so I can see if anyone takes a lot of aggro, so I can come help them. If you are a healer, it might be good to have, because it will indicate who needs a bit more healing at the moment, who's taking aggro. Hopefully you will only see the aggro bar pop up on the tanks, but as experience has taught me, that's not always the case. If you're using this add-on as a DPS, maybe you don't want it, maybe you do, that's up to you. You can also go in and choose headers. I don't like headers myself, and that's why I have turned them off. The add-on looks like this if I use them, hence I don't use them. It puts like small group headers on and sorts the add-on basically. I don't need that, so I don't use it. But that's where you can do that. You can also configure how aggro is shown in on the bars, and you can also configure healing and how that shows up and everything. The text on the bars, of course, you can choose your fonts and where the text shows up and everything. Fiddle around a bit with it, and I'm sure you will find something you like. Another very important thing about HealBot is the clickcast function, as I mentioned before. Here you can see my clickcasts. On the left button I have Divine Protection, and if I shift click something I cast Hand of Protection, control click Hand of Salvation, and alt click Hand of Freedom. I also have Word of Glory on my middle mouse button, my mouse wheel, and I have a macro actually on the shift middle mouse. To set it up, we can shift control click. That's something I'm never going to use, hopefully. And we click the question mark here, and here we can choose about our healing spells, other spells, macros. So if I have made a macro, which I have, resing, as I said before, it's a macro that basically states who I'm resing and does a bit of other things. Just select that one and click select, and it will pop up there. If you can also write the name of the spell you're meaning to put in the space, but if you do, it has to be exactly spelled the way the game spells it. So as we see here, Word of Glory, you need to capitalize word and glory, but not of, and you need the spacing right and such. So it's easier to just click the question mark and shows it from in there. When you've done this, you will have a pretty neat raid unit frame, which is very useful for most classes, and especially tanks and first and foremost healers. This is a must for healers really, if you're not using other add-ons like Voodoo or Grid in combination with Click. There. We have turned off the test bars and we'll close it down. As you can see, I'm in a group at the moment, and I have managed to make that when people are too far away from me, they fade away. And we can also see the energy and mana down below.